Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Chaos-Reighn here, and today I will be showing you a little bit on how I decide to make my characters, what's the deciding factors of how my characters are made, how I kind of brainstorm, DPS checks and everything like that on what I deem good or bad or whatever, and everything like that. So what I decided to do today is I'm going to go ahead and strip down one of my builds. It's going to be my Dex-stacking ice shot build, and I'm going to stash this entire build, gems and all, and jewels, and I'm going to rebuild it with other pieces of gear to show you guys that you are more than able to do it yourself on a cheaper budget than mine, because I have several hundred X in gear, and it's just not a realistic thing to think of trying to, make it happen. So, let's go ahead and show you guys just a little bit about what we got going on here. First things first, if you've seen my ice shot build before, you know that I use pretty much all deck stack gear, including our headhunter and our armor. Obviously, this isn't the best in slot be all end all, but I'm using it anyway. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and strip this character down to the bones. I'm going to take off all the clusters, everything like that, and we are going to make a brand new one. I'm doing this for more than one reason. The first and main reason I'm doing this is because I kind of want to show you guys that you can make this function on a budget. You don't need to have insane amount of currency. Second, I had someone who was interested in purchasing a form of my ice shot for a couple mirrors, and I'm going to basically show you what that looks like. This is probably going to be a multi-part series if this ends up running too long, so we're just going to see about getting everything put away first, and then we can start gearing up. Alright, now I need to go into my tree and take out all of my jewels. Brutal Restraint. One of these. One of these. One of these. A 5-point voices. A second 5-point voices. Split personalities. And I believe that's relatively it. Everything else is... Oh, one more jewel. Hold on. Almost forgot. A Replica Conqueror's Efficiency to make it so my costs were pretty much free. So, as you can see, we're pretty much stripped down to the bone. And now, for our next order of business, let's put everything away. We are going to rebuild this character on a cheaper budget that doesn't have to do with legacy stuff and is relatively inexpensive. So let's go ahead and pick out some gems, shall we? So first things first, let's pick out our gear. Let's see. We want a Heres. This will do for now, so I can get it over with. Heres Truth. Asenaths. What else? go ahead and put these pieces on. And that's going to be pretty much the core of the build. Let's see. Next, we are going to put on some Dexterity Rings. I have triple Dex Rings right here. These are Legacy now, so they're relatively expensive, but they're not as expensive as synthesized Dex Rings. Then we want a Dex-stacking bow that is not Legacy, so we are going to use this one. This one is also good with Vengeant Cascade. If you know what that is, then good on you. It's a very, very strong setup to be worried about there. And then we want a Void Fletcher. We'll do damage per chain, so we can put it on. Alright. For the sake of it, we're just going to be using Replica Headhunter. This is going to be in place of the regular Headhunter, but you'll get the stats from the Dex and everything like that. You don't need a corrupted one with Dex like mine is, but you can if you want. Alright, then for boots and gloves, we are going to choose... I don't have very many specific dex stacking boots or gloves, but boots and gloves are one of the more universal kind of flexible pieces of gear. As you see, I don't have a lot of reses on my rings or any of my gear really, so picking a tri-res boots up is probably going to be the best bet I have. So let's go ahead and choose, since we already have a tailwind, this is going to be the boots in the question. And for gloves, let's see if I have any gloves that would really perform well for this setup. I don't think I have very many gloves I can use, but for the sake of it, I will use these gloves. They are just single res gloves with lightning res T2. It can only roll T2, so what I have, and then it has hybrid life, fizz converted to lightning, and lightning res, attack cast speed. The fizz converted to lightning isn't necessary for this build, but I'm just going to use it because, you know, I have the I don't have very much choice. Oh, let me see. I have a lot of pairs of gloves. Let me see if I can find one more pair. Can't use vulnerability. Well, for the sake of it, I will show these off, though this is, for lack of a better term, probably way out of a price budget at this moment. So then we need flasks. So first thing we need to get is a dying sun. A movement flask. I don't think I have another alchemist quicksilver, so we're just gonna get a decent one. Ample quicksilver will have to do. Then we're gonna get a bottled faith. And looks like we have a decent one, not too great, not too bad. What about you? Yeah, we're gonna get this one, put it on. Then we can put on a dodge flask for more evasion. I don't have one right now, not a spare one, so for the sake of it, we will put on this Cinder Swallow here, which is going to allow us to gain Onslaught permanently, pretty much. And then a health flask. Let's see. This is immunity to ignite. That's kind of useless. We'll just get a remove curses for the sake of it, but you get the idea. So for gem links, now let's go to our jewels, because we actually need jewels. For our jewels, we need dex splits. I'm going to be using random dex ones like dex armor and dex mana. Ideally, you're going to want dex life, or most likely dex life is your best bet. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. And then we're going to be using a single 7 passive voices. Let me see, do I have another Lion Eye Fall? I don't think I do. Do I have a Lion Eye card? I have a lot of sets. Let's see if I get a Lion Eye Fall out of these. There you are.
Let me
Bow, armor. Ah, there we go. Lion Eye Fall, third try. Armor, armor, bow. First things first, we take our and place our Lion Eye Fall on here. And for the armor, we're just going to place it in a dump tab somewhere. Hopefully it sells. The bow we can vendor, just throw it in here.
Greetings.
welcome.
Make sure it's not perfect rolled.
Hello.
Armor, shield, bow.
Welcome.
Armor, okay. I know the armors are pretty well used, so we're just going to keep them. Next, we are going to place our voices down here. This is going to allow us to get the most points in between our nodes, like so. And this will allow us to put our first split right here and our second split right here. This gives us 43 and 46 dex respectively. Now if we go and look at our pathing, we are pathed all the way up and around and down, just so we can kind of take advantage of that. And because we have Lion Eye Fall, now we're going to be taking these crit nodes, so you can kind of see where we're going with this setup. Now we can do a dual Lion Eye Fall setup, and that is more than viable. Dual Lion Eye Fall allows you to take these, and then the multi-nodes up here. So, because we're not doing that, we're going to kind of figure out what we're going to put in the jewel slot. We can also unspec all these nodes, because these nodes are no longer relevant to our current setup. And I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to make it relevant. You just got to work your way around a little bit. Alright, perfect. So we have 20 points. We're almost geared up. Let's go ahead and pick out some gems. Added cold. I don't have any more added cold, so now we have to go to our stockpile here. Pretty sure we have one that we do. We have one. I don't know why I don't have any more. Ah, there we go. 2. We have 2 added colds. Cold pin. I have 1 cold pin. That's fine. Hypothermia. I actually don't have enough hypothermias right now, so let's see if I can't find any. Here's one here. This one gives me a chance to freeze. This one gives me pin. We're going to get chance to freeze because the pin is situational. Inspiration. $18.20 is fine. $21.20 is fine. 2023 is fine. Alright. Now, next thing we need to do is check our dex count. We're at 959. That's perfect. So ideally, you want to hit 1,000 dexterity before you start, you know, getting your gear all majorly set up and everything. We're at 1,000 right now, or at least really close to 1,000, and with a couple of adjustments, we'll be pushing well over 1,000. So next thing we need to do is finish gearing up with some gems. Unfortunately, I might be out of ice shot gems again, because I keep making builds. I have one there. It is a bad. It's the bad one. So we're gonna go ahead and take my gems out of these. So we have ice shot, hypothermia. This is going to be our. I think hypothermia is in our single target. Anyway, let's just keep going. Inspiration, inspiration. Cold penetration in our single target for sure. Cold, added cold, added cold. Crit, crit, and that's going to be in our single target, so do this way, this way. This should be cold, added cold, cold pin, inspiration. Okay, so this is our single target. Next thing we need is to set up our our Esnath's chant setup, which is Creeping Frost, Sniper's Mark. There we go. Oh, fine. Perfect. We have everything in there. Now, see. I actually think I can come up with better gloves than these, so honestly, because these don't have Dex on them, and this is only good if you're using your clear in your gloves, I would actually not recommend using triple elevated for this purpose. If you're doing Dex stack in specific, making a new pair of Dex stack gloves might be your better option. I don't think I have any crazy gloves. Let me see here. Alright, let's go ahead and add our gems in here real quick. And elemental damage with attacks. Do I have an awakened one? I don't. So what we're going to do is we are going to use one of these for our clear, and then our last thing is greater multiple projectiles. Now you can use Awaken GMP if that's your choice. There's not a whole lot of difference aside from one additional arrow, but one additional arrow is more clear. Ah, I know what we can do. Asenaths. So in the case of Asenath's Gentle Touch, you get a little bit more intelligence, you get temp chains and explode in your kit. Um, Getting Asenaths in your build isn't necessary to the build, but it does help because it allows you to have that int threshold. As you can see, we are 959 dex and we haven't even completed the rest of our jewels or the rest of our gear. So we still have a pretty decent amount of stuff we can do. First things first, we have to actually go and find a Brutal Restraint in our collection here. So let's see, B-R-U-T-A-L. I know I have a couple. Here's one. Let's see this one. Crit chance, 5% dex, plus 20 flat dex. Non-damaging elements, projectile damage. I believe this is dex, yeah, okay. So, what is this dex? No, that's cold res. What is this? Gain fizz, movement speed, accuracy. Okay, so this gives us a really healthy amount of dex. So we're actually going to take and spec all these nodes here. Get that 5% there. We're going to take this for cold res. That gives us up to 53 cold res. And that's max life. If you want that, you can take that. So let's see. Pretty sure our reses are pretty bad still. They are 4, 53, and 4. We are missing reses on a bunch of our gear. We have 13 points left, but we have 1100 dex. Now, I can't stress how good these are. If you get these, please, please, please try them out. They're very strong. I always put it there because it's easy. Alright, we're going to take some more decks here. And let's see here. We need a Watcher's Eye, so Hatred with base crit is our goal. Base crit, hatred, gracing, that's fine. Boom. So we have base crit hatred on. We have 1200 dex now. And our ascendancy is path towards far shot, so we do not actually give any inkling of care for point blank. 12 passives remaining, so now there's a couple of things you can do here. You can actually spec into reses like this here. This is, oh no, not this one, is this one? This is 8 all res. Then you can go over here and this gives you 5, 10 all res, and that kind of helps out. You can also do the more ideal thing to do is probably put it on your gloves. So if I actually take this off, I am a 15-inch shy of being where I need to be, but that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys an example of how to fix your reses on the gloves. Yeah, sorry if this video is going a little bit back and forth. I do have to kind of plan things out a little bit better, just to kind of show you exactly what my thought process is on making these builds. Well, for the sake of it, I guess I can show you what it would be like with a crafted pair. It's not the best crafted pair, but it's still a crafted pair. It has Fractured Light Res with Dex Essence on it, and it ends up getting tier 2 flat life and everything like this. This is actually not too hard of a craft to do. Only thing is the Dex roll you see right there is actually a natural roll. It's not Essence. Essence doesn't go that high. So yeah, our Dex roll is really solid. What we're going to do for the sake of the video, let me see, I need to actually take off Flame Dash, right? Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and take out the gems, put this on. This gives us really close to being res capped. So at this point, you have dual res here, tri-res here. This also gives you elusive. You have Tailwind on your tree. So we need 20 all res, which is actually, believe it or not, very easy. So let's see here. We're going to go ahead and put these away. And just so you know, this is not a legacy. It does have a double corruption that's insane, but it's not legacy, so you'll be able to reach the amount of damage using legacy a lot easier. If you had this on a legacy armor, you'd probably be really, really rich, but unfortunately it's not. But, you know, it is what it is. So I'm not going to gear up the secondary setup here. I don't really think I need to. I'm just going to leave it as is. The Whispers of Doom is actually not ideal here, but that's fine. Okay, making sure everything's good there. Okay. So I need 15 int, 20 all res. So what's the easiest way to go about the all res? Ah, that's right. To get you more dex, what you can do is you can actually artificially increase your crit chance. But I say artificially because it's not like necessarily normal way to do it. It is, but it isn't. So let's see, crit cluster, and let's see if we can find one that we can re-roll. Do I have a non-rolled crit cluster is the question. This is a double multi-crit cluster with more multi. This is insane, actually. So we'll take that out just because it has so much multi. Looks like I do have some crit clusters. Guess I found them recently. Yeah, I did. Go ahead and pull out a bunch of crafting materials. And this is another way you can fix your reses too. Let's see, we have crit chance, crit multi. Okay, that doesn't matter. Now, what you're looking for is either a double multi. That one's technically a double multi, but it's not what you need. This will work. Quick getaway gives you attack, cast speed, movement speed, um, and crit chance, and then you have crit multi AoE, which is really good because Ice Shot is an AoE gem. So now, because we have 12 points left, what we can do is we can actually take one of these out, put this in, spec in the 4 points, put this back in, and if you can tell, we went up a little bit of dex because it's now further. And then we do the same thing here. Take this out, put this in, spec 4 points, and bam. Since we have 4 points still left, what we can do here is we can basically fix our reses. Um, it's a little easier said than done, but it is possible. We can actually put this here, and that'll kind of just remain in our slot, so we're good to go there. Alright, next order of business is we need to get, let's see, let's try a lightning res cluster. So we need lightning res. If I have any rolled ones, that would be great, but it doesn't look like it. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and just take one. We'll go with a 2 notable should be fine. We'll go with a fire res actually, and see if we can find a cold res with prismatic heart. We have 4 points, so we can actually flex a little bit. Actually, we can't. Okay. So this gives us prismatic heart, which would be boom boom, and now we have fire res capped with close to capped on lightning and what is it? Lightning and cold. So let's see what we can do here. So you can actually drop this jewel. So what do we need? Cold and lightning. Okay. Cold res. Cold and lightning right on the money. And it has dex on it, attack speed with bows, damage with bows. So this is actually perfect for this build. And this puts us at near max roll. Can I divine it? I can. And increase area effective aura skills is nothing really crazy, but it's still cool. So we can actually be res capped if we divine our jewel, but this is what we're at now. We actually have to let's see, what gym is it? Hydrosphere. We have to get 15 intelligence somehow on our tree. So what I'm going to do here is take this strengthen node, and that'll give us 1300 dex overall. And we don't really, like I said, try this jewel out, but if you can't really afford to put it in, don't put it in. But yep, that is me basically gearing up from 0 to complete a full deck stacking eye shot build. This is using non-legacy gear. Obviously, I do have a harvest crafted bow, but if you guys want to see me craft a deck stacking bow from scratch that will still perform, I am more than able to do that. And before I forget, I'm actually going to fix my setup here. We have, oh come on, there we go. We already have hatred, so we need precision. PRAC. It doesn't look like I have a precision extra right now. Let me see. Put this away. So we'll go ahead and take our precision from here, put it here, and Herald of Ice, HERALD, Herald. Alright, looks like it was all in one place. And bam. Now we can put all of our auras on. And in the next video, I will be showing you the performance test of my self-made 0 to completed build here, and you guys can tell me for yourself whether or not you like the layout. Now I will say Void Fletcher is a weird pick here. I'm only picking Void Fletcher because I don't think I can out DPS it. Oh, never mind. I didn't think I had another one of these. There we go. Boom. All right. So if that's the case, we actually are attribute capped without this. So this will put us at 2750. All right, we're good there. Why am I only at... Oh, that's right. Void Fletcher gives you cold res. That's why I chose Void Fletcher. Well then. Alright, I thought I was going to wrap up this video. I'm sorry, guys. Let me see if I can't figure out my reses. 45 cold res. Alright, so what can we do here? 2 points available. 3, 4, 5. With 5 points I can get up there. And that would actually be an interesting setup. 1, 2. That's actually perfect. So we can actually do this. Is this double multi? It's not, so we can actually take off the crit jewel. And 3, 4, 5. Put that there. That gives us... That actually gives us less than the other one. That's... No. Well, I don't know. Let me see. 1376. 1370, 6 less. Okay. That's not too bad. Because then we can do... cold res. Go ahead and ID it. Now, since we're doing this, let's go ahead and put this back away. I'm just going to hit this with like 5 chaos and accept whatever I get. So, pure commander, pure device, nah. That's perfect. So put that there. Boom, boom. I need one more point. Right here. Need to eat regrets. Perfect. Now we have regrets for later. Perfect. Okay. And we are res capped and over capped on all our reses. Alright. So, one thing I will say is if you're using these clusters, I am using these like poorly, I'm not gonna lie. If you're using these clusters, you want them to have Dex on them. I've actually rolled a couple with Dex before to show, just to show exactly what you can do. And then you don't take the big notable, you just have a Dex roll, like a T2, T1 Dex roll with reses and maybe an increased effect if you're lucky. And that'll cap your reses, and each notable ends up being about 13 or 14 Dex and 20 res, so it's point efficient on every aspect. Um, but yeah, without further ado, I am going to wrap this video up, and I will soon record the second video for the second round of this. I actually can unspec this node right now. And give us 20 Dex. This gives us 1370. Perfect. Excuse me. Well, without further ado, I am going to end this video here, and I will be back very shortly to show you guys the updated video of me basically showing the performance of the build. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.